Grayson must have been kicked in the head at some point. That's the only reason he could muster as to why he'd agreed to lead the horse camp. Could he just go back to riding with Beth? Because a guy could really enjoy getting paid to keep that kind of company. He'd even ordered 20 tons of hay and made sure the horses were on the farrier's schedule before hopping on the tractor and turning the manure, checking all the camp saddles for maintenance, and repairing the fence Tally had dismantled. 2 days since he'd stopped by her dad's, since she'd admitted that she'd given up college to stay with him. Did Doug even know? Was he okay with that? Grayson shook off the distraction. He stared down the Monday morning lineup of kids, all eyes on him. He'd rather have a wild Mustang to gentle. Was he even cut out to run his own camp? Dreaming it had been one thing. Being faced by children, looking at him with every expectation of an equestrian excursion? Oh boy. But Beth needed him, and Eli needed him, and every one of the kids in the lineup needed him. So, time to pull it together. Fast. There wouldn't be any ambulances or angry parents this time. Eli smiled up at him from the group, and Grayson tried to focus on him. He was easy to talk to. Didn't work. Beth stood against the hitching post, her brand-new straw Stetson shielding her eyes from the sun. In her Wranglers, Ariats, and hat, she looked like Miss Rodeo USA. And that suited her, if he were the kind of guy to notice those details about Dylan's sister, which he wasn't, so he didn't. He hadn't noticed how she'd smelled like summer, coconut and orange blossoms, when he'd given her that awkward sideways hug last week, or how much he enjoyed giving her a leg up into the saddle, or how much fun he had sharing hours at the barn with her, like the way she smiled when Tally came near, brave enough now to accept a scratch on the withers, or even how Beth looked at him like sometimes she drew a little of her courage from him, or how he looked for her car every time he was in town. Nope, didn't notice any of that. Not that she'd care anyway. She'd be the official camp AD, and he'd be leaving town. Unless he hadn't imagined the little bit of spark in her eyes when he danced with her at his grandparents' party, or in Tally's stall when they fed the mare applesauce spiked with antibiotics and rewrapped her bandage. Maverick nudged Grayson's arm. He checked out the lineup again. Yeah, Mav, I know. The campers all still stood, staring at him, waiting. And he thought he'd be able to run his own camp? His throat constricted, tight, as if a horse had landed on him, squeezing out the breath, not permitting his lungs to fill. This was a mistake. It shouldn't be that hard. Beth had helped him tack up the horses, who all stood patiently, tied at different spots around the arena. She'd worked with deft but gentle hands prepping each horse, speaking to each quietly as she worked, calling the horses by name. They'd already fit the kids with helmets. He rubbed his slick hands against his jeans and took a swig from his water bottle in hopes of getting rid of the cottony dryness, then shoved it back into his saddlebag. No amount of staring at Maverick could inflate his lungs. The kids stood, several toeing the dirt, a few wiggling side to side. Out of 9, only 6 pairs of eyes were on him. 2 of the campers started to tussle, bumping into Eli. Grayson stepped forward. Hey, we're not going to have any of that. We're just playing, one answered. This day had train wreck written all over it, and he had no idea where to start. Everything he'd rehearsed, gone like front row tickets to the country music festival. They stared. He stared. Crickets.